Welcome to Devotionary, where we make the Bible accessible and applicable. If you stop and think about it, trying to run from God makes no sense at all. If He is indeed all-knowing and all-powerful, any attempt to hide from Him will be unsuccessful. And if God intends to do something, any thought of escaping His judgment is wishful thinking. It was King David who wrote, based on his own personal experience, "I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence." Psalm 139:7. David went on to say, "Even in darkness I cannot hide from you." Psalm 139 verse 12. If this is true, then why is it we spend so much time trying to keep things from God or attempting to get out from under the will of God? In Isaiah chapter 21 verses 11 through 17, Isaiah is going to deliver yet another oracle from God, this time to the nation of Arabia and the lesser-known nation called Dumah. As we'll see, this is a somewhat veiled reference to the Edomites, who were close relatives of the people of Israel. One by one, God is eliminating every nation and Judah's proximity as possible options to be their rescuer. God was bringing judgment on Judah, and there was nowhere they could run and no place they could hide from His inevitable will. This oracle concerns a region the text refers to as Dumah. In Hebrew, the word means silence and is most likely a reference to the land of Edom, which is called Seir in the very same verse. The use of the word Dumah is appropriate because this oracle is short on information. Unlike the previous oracles, this one is lacking in details and therefore silent as to the exact fate of the Edomites. We know that Seir is a reference to the Edomites because it was located in the region that God gave to Esau. "I gave Esau the hill country of Seir to possess." Joshua 24 verse 4. The Edomites were the descendants of Esau, Jacob's twin brother. Their land was located to the south of Judah on the northern border of what is now called Saudi Arabia. While the Edomites were close relatives to the Israelites, the two nations had a contentious relationship. When the Israelites were journeying from Egypt to the land of Canaan, they asked permission to pass through the land of Edom, but were turned down. "Please let us pass through your land. We will not pass through field or vineyard or drink water from a well. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand or to the left until we have passed through your territory." But Edom said to him, "You shall not pass through, lest I come out with a sword against you." And the people of Israel said to him, "We will go up by the highway, and if we drink of your water, I and my livestock, then I will pay for it. Let me only pass through on foot, nothing more." But he said, "You shall not pass through." And Edom came out against them with a large army and a strong force. Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory, so Israel turned away from him. Numbers 20 verses 17 through 21. During the reign of King David, the Edomites became subjects of Israel, with Israelite garrisons stationed within their land. But after Solomon's death and the split of the kingdom, the Edomites revolted. They had been a constant source of irritation to the Israelites over the years, and yet God had told Israel, "You shall not abhor an Edomite, for he is your brother." Deuteronomy 23 verse 7. The oracle indicates someone from Dumah asking the watchman on the wall, "How much longer until morning? When will the night be over?" Isaiah 21 verse 11. The image is that of a land filled with darkness. It indicates a time of distress, and the people of Edom want to know when the dawn will break and the light will shine again. The answer the watchman gives them is somewhat cryptic. "Morning is coming, but night will soon return." Isaiah 21 verse 12. There would be relief, but it would only be a momentary respite. The information provided by the watchman was incomplete and unsatisfactory, but he invited the inquirer to come back at a future date and ask again. Perhaps he would be able to shed more light at that time. When Isaac's wife Rebekah was pregnant with the twin boys who would later become Jacob and Esau, God had told her, "Two nations are in your womb, and two peoples from within you shall be divided. The one shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger." Genesis 25 verse 23. To a certain degree, Esau and his descendants never stopped trying to regain what he believed to be was his rightful place as the firstborn. He had sold his inheritance for a bowl of soup, and had always felt like he had been tricked into doing so by his brother. The animosity between these two nations never really faded, and it's interesting to note that during the time of Jesus' birth, the Roman-appointed king of the Jews was a man named Herod the Great, who just happened to be an Edomite. He is the one who, upon hearing that Jesus had been born and was the legal heir to David's throne, ordered the slaughter of all the male babies under 2 years old in Bethlehem, in an attempt to eliminate any threat to his reign. The prophet Ezekiel would later provide a word from God outlining an account of Edom's future fate. As you rejoiced over the inheritance of the house of Israel, because it was desolate, so I will deal with you. You shall be desolate, Mount Seir, and all Edom, all of it. Then they will know that I am the Lord. Ezekiel 35, verse 15. As with the other nations mentioned in this series of oracles, Edom is exposed as a poor choice for an ally. God continues to let Judah know that there is no one they can rely on except him. While the Edomites were descendants of Isaac and therefore Abraham, they were not a reliable source of help in time of need. They were going to have their own problems. Which brings God to the next nation on his divine list, Arabia. This region was south of Edom and comprised what is now Saudi Arabia. But in spite of their geographic location, they would not be spared from the coming Assyrian invasion. The oracle describes them as fleeing from the swords and bows of the enemy and seeking refuge in the thickets. Other Arabian tribes are encouraged to come to their aid with bread and water, but God predicts that within a year they will fall. Within a year, according to the years of a hired worker, all the glory of Kedar will come to an end. Isaiah 21, verse 16. And their demise will be his doing. The Assyrians will simply be puppets in his hands, performing his divine bidding. The people of Judah could seek aid from Arabia or attempt to find refuge there, but God was letting them know that this would be an unwise and non-beneficial decision. When the judgment of God came, there would be no place to run or hide. There would be no nation strong enough to stay the hand of God. There would be no ally powerful enough to thwart the will of God. So the best decision the people of Judah could make was to repent and to return to God, begging his forgiveness and appealing to his grace and mercy. For the Lord, the God of Israel, has spoken. Isaiah 21, verse 17.